Opening a book unveils countless tales and adventures. Did you know the web holds its own stories through HTML? Welcome to Next Devs. HTML is the building blocks of websites on the internet. HTML is built up of different elements, tags, and attributes, and we're all going to learn about them right here, right now, today. Picture HTML as the alphabet of the web, combining to create countless and vast different contents for the internet. Tags are also helpful so you can structure websites properly and your elements properly. So right here we have a tag, and this tag is called cover. This isn't a real tag, but this is an example. And then here you have all your book contents. The book content itself is the element, and right here the cover is the tag. Alright, so we're going to dive deep into some elements and some tags. So the first couple tags are definitely the HTML tag. So this is going to allow for you to even write HTML. So this is going to be the first thing you want. You want an opening tag, and as you can see here, a closing tag. The next kind of important one would be the head. Here you'll find different tags such as the meta tags. These are used for different kind of viewports, widths, character sets. We have a title. This is basically going to simulate the title up here. And links, kind of situating, you can link different files to your HTML. So in this case, you would want to link your CSS to your HTML. And you do most of this kind of stuff under the hood stuff in the head tag. So right here, as you can see in the heading. And then we also have a body right here. Typically the body tag, it has anything to do that you see on the page. So right here, it also has a closing tag, and as you can see, there's all the other remaining tags inside of it. So we'll start with this header tag, and we'll talk about what's inside of it and keep moving down. So the header tag is meant for, as you could probably think of, headers, and these are just semantic ways, and they also add a little bit of extra CSS, so that way you don't have to do as much work. For example, the header will align things a certain way. H1s make things bold. This is mainly for like bold fonts, kind of displaying something in bold. H1s, you also have your H2s, 3s, something like that. And then you have a nav. This is basically for anything with list. So then you also have an unordered list, which is your ULs. And inside of ULs go LIs, which are lists. So you have an unordered list, and then you could put list that also can have an A tag, which is basically something that you can use to reference things. So I know we just went over a lot, so I want to recap. So body holds everything you see on the page. The header is everything you see in the header. H1 basically for big bold text. You got your H2s. As you go higher in the number, the lower the bold goes. You got your nav for nav bars list. UL stands for unordered list, and then you got your LIs that stand for list. And you got your A tags that basically are for linking to something. You can put a href in here and stuff like that. Then you can have like a main tag, which would be in your body, and it could also think of it as like a main section on your web page. So speaking of section, you have a section tag that breaks things off. This is similar to the div tag. A lot of these tags are similar, but it's good to just name them for semantic reasons, so that way you understand like what this is. Then here's that H2 that I mentioned. A paragraph, a P tag is for paragraph. So this is for a bunch of text that you want to do. And then you have your image, IMG is for images. So you can link an image by just using the source attribute right here. So this is an attribute. And you got forms. This is just for forms. And inside of forms, you can do labels, which will label the input. And the input is just where you can input text, where you're filling out a form. And then you also have your footer. If you look right here, the footer is basically just the bottom of your page instead of the header, which is the top. And that's pretty much a basic web page. I'll show you what that looks like on a page. So here's that header that we have right here. You see this is that unordered list and the nav bar. And each one of these is the list, which will go to different places. So if you look up here, it'll add that /home. And that's just the href doing its job. It doesn't go anywhere at the moment because it's not hooked up, but then this is that home section that was built out and separated with the section tag. Same thing for this. That image tag that we saw. This is the contact section. And then we also have the form, which is right here. And you can see we have a label, which is the name, an input, another label, input, and a button. And we also have button tags, which make buttons. But in this case, the value of this input was equal to submit, so it turned into a button itself. And so that's mainly the core tags and elements of HTML. Elements are basically just what's ever inside of the tag, so remember that. Next, we're going to talk about attributes. So as we were looking through this, you probably noticed the different things that have like equal signs behind them. These are attributes themselves, and what attributes do is they basically are the details, and they add details to the tags. So, for example, in this scenario right here, this ID is basically just giving this section tag an ID, so you can change it, or you can also reference it in different areas. For example, if you're writing CSS, you can grab the ID and you can start changing the CSS and the way the format and the style looks of that tag with CSS by just referencing the ID. You can also give it a class, which will do the same thing, and you can just say class equals home as well, and that's how you would start editing it and selecting this in CSS. You can also see the source tag, which is basically for images. You have action tag, which is what will happen, where this thing will go once the form is posted. You can see what kind of method it is. It's a post method, basically meaning it's adding to something. For is for labels. You can say this is for the name, and then that references this ID, and then you can say the name is this. So a bunch of these attributes just add details for our tags is what I'm trying to say here. So I'm also going to talk about a little bit of a bonus tip. So I'll see you guys here in a second. So a bonus tip, always remember guys, in HTML control is key. And how do you get control of your elements and your structures? Is basically by having detailed tags, proper elements, and structured out attributes as well, so that we have control of how your website looks. And once you have control of that, you can do all the styling way easier, do all the JavaScript way easier. Alright, 10x devs, if you liked the video or you learned something about HTML that you didn't know, leave a like on the video. It really helps me out so we can keep doing these videos and keep growing as a community and as a channel. Also, join the Discord in the description down below, where we are building a community that we help people break into tech all the time, and we share different success stories and things like that about tech. Also, subscribe and follow me. The link in the description down below, where I live stream on Kick Monday through Friday every day. And then also, I want you to tell me if I left anything out. So if I left anything out, please put it in the comments down below. Lastly, I'll see you guys in this video where we're talking about some more coding stuff. I'd appreciate to see you over there.